Nationality, the order of the day. The divine message and warning. All Garveyites, Rastafarians, Black Nationalists and Pan-Africans. By Grand Sheikh Brother Kudjo Adwo L. Moorish Science Temple of America, Canaanland, Toronto. Edited by Sister Tahida S. Najee-Ullah L. All rights reserved. Without prejudice. No part of this book may be reproduced or transmitted in any form by any means, electronic, photocopying, mechanical, recording, information storage, or retrieval system, unless for the liberation of minds and gaining knowledge of self. Part 10. Moorish Scientific Standards. Our flag is the flag we inherited from our ancestors and which we use today. The star and its 5 points stand for man, the species, not the gender or Allah, an arm, a leg, an arm, and a head. The 5 points also stand for our 5 principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. The way of life, called Islam, is an acronym, ISLAM, meaning I self-law am master. Moorish science unearths aught from under the rubbish so man can perfect himself as a perfected stone in the temple of the Most High. The Moorish scientist seeks to find that which was lost within himself, thus placing him on a path, journey or pilgrimage to self-mastery and spiritual enlightenment. The seeking Moorish scientist is called a traveler in search for the infinite and unchanging truth, which is aught and aught, which is Allah. Quote, all men are one and equal to seek their own destiny, and to worship under their own vine and fig tree after the principles of the holy and divine laws of their forefathers. Source: Noble Drew Ali, The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7, 1928. Divine Oral Statements and Prophecies. Number 4. I am going to stop the European from thinking and start you to thinking for your own good. The prophet is saying that with the European naturally being a thinker, since most have no soul, the prophet will give us what we need to start thinking for ourselves, instead of following the thoughts of the European. Number 15. In the year 2000, the Moors will come into their own. Number 24. One day you will go to the store, and there will be soldiers there with guns with bayonets on them, and they will not let you enter. They will tell you, move on. Today, with Homeland Security, martial law and the likes, we see these soldiers with guns, but the bayonet isn't the blade. Nowadays it's the flashlight that replaced the bayonet. Number 67. It will take you 50 years to find out what I brought you. Moors were still mental slaves when the prophet introduced the temple. He's saying it will take Moors a long time to really see his mission and vision for the Moorish Science Temple as a national and divine, not a religious movement. Number 106. There are going to be new Moors to come in with their eyes wide open, seeing and knowing, that are going to take you old Moors and seek you in the back and carry out my law. Many Moors have failed the prophet through doing nothing to help uplift fallen humanity. Many Moors saw the temple as a church of some kind, and have forgotten, neglected or created their own path with regard to following what the prophet set forth. Source: Moorish Science Temple, California, Inc., 2014. The prophet knew that Moors whom have never been introduced to the temple will be so conscious that they will automatically see what the prophet wanted us to do, and set about fulfilling what the prophet established to bring us back into the fold of government. Number 138. If you are not careful, your own brothers will try to sell you into slavery. Number 177. If I cannot teach you here, I will teach you on the soul plane. Noble Drew Ali knows that in the mind is where the pineal gland rests. The pineal gland houses the soul of an individual with melanin and some non-melanites. The prophet comes to us in dreams, and it is taught that if the prophet does come to you in a dream, say nothing to him unless spoken to. This is where the real teachings are, in the realm of the soul. Number 192. If your brother does something wrong to you, don't call him a nigger, call him a dirty Moor. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali was very aware that melanin beings were, and still are, misnomers, and these misnomers delude to slavery. The Prophet is saying that we must identify even the ones of us that are unconscious and devilish as Moors, since we have our own ways of dealing with traitors of our nation. If we identify them as niggers, we give up the right to discipline these dirty members of our society, according to our government. What the emergence of the Prophet did was bring us back into the school of thought we applied before slavery. As melanin beings and Moorish Americans, that school of thought as a religion is universal, meaning that our spirituality is based on principles that govern the universe, and those principles are manifested in man through studying the Circle 7 Quran, which is an activator of our chakra system. Chapter 12. 22. Behold, a master, adept chamber comes and tells them of hidden wealth, Kundalini energy, that underneath the rocky coil of carnal things, base chakra, are treasures that no man can count. Spiritual enlightenment upon raising the Kundalini. 23. That in the heart chakra the richest gems abound, that he who wills may open the door and find them all. Source: Noble Drew Ali, The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7, 1928. Chapter 18. 39. They saw the body of the Nazarene transmute. They saw it change from mortal, base chakra to immortal, crown chakra, and then it disappeared. Source: Noble Drew Ali, The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7, 1928. Quote: Sharif Noble Abdul Ali. In America he would be known as Noble Drew Ali. On his return to the United States in 1913, he had a dream in which he was ordered to found a movement to uplift fallen humanity by returning the nationality, divine creed and culture to persons of Moorish descent in the Western Hemisphere. He organized the Moorish Science Temple along lines similar to Masonic lodges, with local temple branches and adept chambers teaching the esoteric wisdom derived from the secret circle of Eastern sages, the master adepts of Moorish science. Source: Moor's Gate, Bab al-Magharba, no date. Moorish elders through Moorish history teach about the Middle Passage story being a con to get the indigenous people of this land of North America to disown their birthright. By abandonment of those rights through ignorance, they are complicit in the theft of what's due to the Moors according to the laws of nations. Pope's coat of arms in the left corner of the shield is a Moor's head in natural color with red lips, crown and collar. This is the ancient emblem of the Diocese of Phrasing, founded in the 8th century. The Moor's head is not rare in European heraldry. It still appears today in the arms of Sardinia and Corsica, as well as in the blazons of various noble families. Italian heraldry, however, usually depicts the Moor wearing a diadem, a white band around his head instead of a crown, whereas in German heraldry the Moor is shown wearing a crown. The Moor's head, found in the Bavarian tradition, is known as the Caput Ethiopiacum or the Moor of Phrasing. In Christian tradition, there are the Magi, also known as the Three Wise Men, the Three Kings or Kings from the East. The Magi depicted as the Moor was Zenon da Verona, about 300 to 371 or 300 to 380, and was either an early Christian bishop or martyr. He is a saint in the Roman Catholic Church. His birth date is controversial, but is placed sometime in the early 4th century in Mauritania near Algiers in North Africa, which tells us he truly was a Moor.